So remember, the Hebrew Israelites worshipped the golden calf, which was the golden bull, the ancient celestial cow goddess, the queen of heaven, Ashtaroth, the Apis bull, like the ancient cult of Osiris, the Apis bull, the Egyptian god of the dead and the underworld. And to the Egyptians, it was Ptah who called the world into being. He was also known as the Apis bull in the primordial mound, and he holds the Djed, or the Jed. And he holds the phallic staff of the Jed, which is the sacrum of the bull spine. It's known as the spine or backbone of Osiris. And notice that the goddess Isis holds the symbol of life, which is the Ankh, the cross-section of the bull spine. And the royal elite are known as the noble ones. And that's because the evil elite take no bull. And that's why they want us to be honorable or honor a bull. And of course, they want us to be respectable or respect a bull. And that's why the elite give the horned sign of the beast. Why do you think your boss is so mean? Because a boss comes from the bos, which is the ox, which is the bull. And we are just the cattle. And we have a senator, which comes from the moon and the bull, which is the sin and the Taurus. Exactly like the Minotaur. And that's exactly why you have a mentor, or one who mentors you, which comes from the bull, the Min and Taurus. And that's exactly why both speakers are the boss. And a mentor is like a big brother looking over your shoulder, exactly like the moon looking over all of us. And this is why Big Brother is watching over you, because they are monitoring us, which means the monitor, which is the all-seeing eye of the monitor, which is the moon and the bull, the Taurus bull. And we use a monitor to monitor the internet for information, but actually the government monitors us for information, and they are also listening, so be careful what you do and what you say. And we have a monastery, which is a moon star or asteroid of the moon, and that's exactly why we have a monk. So now you know why the cow jumped over the moon. And that's why they tell us that there's a man in the moon. And it was the ancient Babylonians who built the tower trying to reach the moon god Sin. And the Illuminati accomplished their goal in 1969. And how did we get to the moon? We got there from Apollo and the Saturn V. So we have the fertility from the god of the Bible, Saturn L, and it's called the Saturn V. The V is actually the 5, which is the vagina of the pentagram of the goddess, which is the hidden symbol of the Tetragrammaton. And that's why they put the symbol of Saturn L on the end of the bed of Santa. So the Apollo 11 mission is really about the sun and the twin pillars, the 101, the sex magic. Because we're talking about the hard rock of the male that goes into the female, and that's why it's 69. And that's why there's a man in the moon, because he's poking his phallic flag into the moon. And of course, these Satanists use the Black Sabbath of the black hole of the abyss, because the program was ordered into existence on the night of the black moon of death. And then they launched Apollo 11 on the night of the black moon of death also. And would you believe that they exited quarantine on August 13th, 1969, which was the night of the black moon of death? So the mission took exactly one full cycle of the moon. and they returned in a cube or a rectangle. They are reenacting the ritual of the stone that fell from the moon, the black monolith, that brought them wisdom and leaped them into the future. And that's exactly why they tell us that it's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. And so they worship the black cube of Saturn, exactly like the black cube of Mecca. And like I said before, that's the same black square of Saturn that you wear on your head when you graduate. And that's why you wear the cap, because the word school means the skull. And that's why you go to elementary. And when you become consumed with the indoctrination and you graduate, you symbolically toss the cap into the air as if you've been decapitated. Exactly like the goddess Nike slaying the neck of the bull, the Illuminati winged bull that flies in the air. And that's exactly why they fly in the air over the bull. And that's why they ride it for 8 seconds. And that's why it's in the air, because what you're looking at is the winged bull in the air. So exactly like the 12 months or the 12 moons in a year, we have the 12 houses of the zodiac. And that's why when you graduate from the 12. And that's exactly why the word 12 has L in it. And yes, that's exactly why the letter L is the number 12. Why did you think the black bull square of Saturn has the tail on it, which is called a tassel? Because that's the tail or the tassel of the bull god Saturnel. And it's called a mortarboard, which means the death board, which is from the death chaos god. And if you still don't believe me, perhaps you can explain why it's called an ox for cat. So the God of the Bible has angels, and Santa Claus has elves. So NASA launched from Cape Canaveral. The first successful test firing of an IBM, the Titan missile, was on the night of the Black Moon at Cape Canaveral, because Saturnel was the king of the Titans. And on January 27th, 1967, the Apollo 1 caught fire. It was on the night of the full moon. So Jack Parsons was an occultist and member of the OTO. He was a jet propulsion laboratory founder. And he admitted that just before launches, he would invoke the god Pan, the pervert fertility god, exactly like Peter Pan, because the very word Peter means the penis. And once again, we're talking about the bull penis flying in the air, and that's why he's with Wendy, and they fly around in the air. And that's why Michael Jordan is the red-winged bull flying through the air. And that's why when you drink the red blood of the bull, it gives you wings. The red-winged bull flying through the air. Why do you think Hollywood came out with the film Snakes on a Plane? Because the jet is like a phallic penis with wings that flies in the air. And they show the twin serpents entwined around the phallic jet, which is actually a representation of Adam and Eve and the serpent, which is Adam, his first wife Lilith, and his second wife Eve, showing you the sex magic of the 101. And you'll see the two serpents wrapped around the phallic penis pole in many aspects of our world. And the Illuminati puts the symbolism right under the noses of the sheeple. And I'm sure you've heard the term jet black. The reason why is because the black stone, which is the black stone of Saturn, is known as the jet black. And that's why on 9/11 we saw the phallic winged bull Saturn flying through the air, colliding into the pillars So we have the black jet of Saturn and the gemstone of sapphire, which is the gemstone for September, which is the gemstone of Saturn. Exactly like the black Titanic that ran into the pole of ice, or the pillar of ice. And so now you know the secret behind the blue sapphire diamond. And of course, Titanic comes from the Titan gods. And that's why they show you the phallic penis of the pyramid along with the phallic ship.
And that's why they sunk the Titanic on the night our taxes are due, at midnight during the 13th hour on the night of the black moon of death.